We are officially in the middle of National Arbor Week, and this year's events are marked under the theme of forests and water. Arbor Week 2017 aims to have trees such as your Sophia Town Oak Tree in Limpopo as its focal point. These trees fall under some of the oldest, largest and culturally significant trees. Joining us from our studios in Pretoria is the Chief Director of Forestry Development and Regulation, Phumeza Nodada. Sis Phumeza, good morning to you and thank you so much for joining us here on Morning Live.
Good morning, Palesa, and good morning to the viewers.
Thank you so much indeed. Now, the department is the custodians, of course, of forestry. Talk to us about the campaign for this year. What are you hoping to achieve?
The National Arbor Week campaign is a campaign that we do annually from the 1st to the 7th of September. And this year, our theme is forests and water, where we are looking at trying to ensure that we conserve water, but at the same time we promote the planting of trees and the importance of forests in our environment. So what we're trying to achieve is getting South Africans to partner with us in planting these trees, getting South Africans to be proud of the trees that we have, getting South Africans to understand the role of forests in climate change, in food security and economic development.
All right, but how do you get them to participate in this initiative? I remember back then, Sis Phumeza, when we were in school, during Arbor Week, we'd be busy, planting trees and such. Do you still have, such initiatives? Do you still go about taking them down to schools?
Yes, we do. For instance, on Friday last week, the minister launched Arbor Week at the Matatiele local municipality, where there was participation of schools, of communities, and different organizations that partner with us do have school initiatives, do have tree plantings in different schools. The minister planted some trees at the Sive school in Cedarville as part of the initiative, and partners like Food and Trees for Africa have started already to plant trees all around the country. We also have our corporate sponsor, Total South Africa, that is also leading in terms of some school initiatives in around Gauteng, and they have about 10 schools that they are already supporting in terms of planting trees for this year.
Yeah, and I know you would agree with Mrs. Phumeza Guti, this week is also very much educational. I remember last year around this time, we were somewhere in Limpopo province and we got to learn more about, I think the focus last year really was about the moringa tree. So that's where we got to learn about it, what it does, the beneficials of it health-wise and so on. So it's not just about planting trees, but it's also very educational.
No. Yes, it is very educational. For instance, this year, our trees of the year is the ebony tree and the buffalo thorn. These are indigenous trees that can be planted in the dry season. You remember the country is experiencing some drought, so those trees are able to thrive, and these trees can have multiple uses besides just making areas to be beautiful. Some of these trees you can use the fruits for fruit, but at the same time you can use some of the roots for ailments such as headaches and toothache. So it's a very educational part of our greening initiative, and we rely more on awareness and capacity building to ensure that our communities understand what trees are all about. And when we do these tree planting initiatives, what we try and do is to make sure that whoever we plant trees at, whether it's at a household or whether it's at a school, the school or that person at the household level takes responsibility for that tree, because we do come back and do some assessments at the end just to check whether the trees are surviving or not.
Yeah, hence I was saying that we get to learn along the way, because we didn't know that with ebony tree and buffalo tree you can actually get to cure headache and toothache. Now, in terms of greening, because I know it's one important focus, explain what greening is for us, more specifically bringing it here home in South Africa. The greening initiatives that we run in the country
are based on our national greening strategy, which promotes the greening of our environments by municipalities, by government, and by local communities. What we do is to try and make sure that we plant trees for food. For instance, we would give out fruit trees to households. In Matatiele, we gave about 200 peach trees in Cedarville for 100 households, and there are additional trees that are going to be given out throughout the campaign. We also have a Million Trees program, which was launched in 2007, and this program initially promoted just planting of indigenous trees for shade. But in recognition of the fact that South Africa is a food insecure country, we then started an initiative that both indigenous trees and fruit trees would be given out to communities to make sure that as people are using trees for shade, but they can also use trees for food. In addition to that, we have initiatives like Trees for Homes, EduPlant, which is a school's program where school children are taught on tree planting and also vegetable gardening to make sure that there is food around in the schools. Our aim is to make sure that we don't only have Johannesburg quoted as the only green city, but we can have multiple green cities all around the country.
Yeah, and I imagine that this Arbor Week fits very well within the month of September. I mean, taking into consideration that we're celebrating Tourism Month in September, we're also celebrating Heritage Month. So it goes well, it fits perfectly well.
Yes. Yes, it does. What we also do is to try and ensure that the heritage is given a priority. We also encourage municipalities to plant and green in the areas where they live in. You would remember that during the apartheid years, local settlements were never planted trees. So we've encouraged municipalities to start planting in the settlements through a competition we call Arbor City Awards. This competition then recognizes these municipalities. For instance, the minister on the 1st of September awarded some prizes. We have three categories where you have the metropolitan municipality level, you have local municipalities, and then you have rural municipalities. So there were winners that were announced on the 1st of September. Ironically, as we were in Matatiele, which is part of Alfred Nzo District Municipality, the Umzimvubu local municipality won the Rural Municipality Award, which then really encouraged the community of Matatiele in terms of participating in the competition. And tomorrow, the Limpopo province will be having an event in Polokwane, where they will be doing a provincial Arbor event, but also celebrating the fact that Polokwane won the second prize for the local municipality category in the Arbor City Awards.
All right, Sis Phumeza, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for talking to us here on Morning Live, and I believe that we'll remember to plant a tree and make a difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much indeed. Well, there you have it. As I said, let's remember to make a difference and plant a tree during this Arbor Week. That's Phumeza Nodada. She is the Chief Director of Forestry Development and Regulations, talking to us about the importance of this week. Let's take a break here on Morning.